Okay, welcome to another adventure in old code. We're going to continue our look at Stock Simulator version 3.0. We just finished up on the title screen last time, and we will hopefully get a lot done today. Okay, setting all the names. We did title. And this occurs in all stock simulators. If you've asked for the message, then keep doing the message in the title, message in the title, message in the title, until you don't ask for the menu anymore. So we loop until we didn't hit M. Okay. Very good. And okay, screen 0, we're going back into text mode, and we're do the instructions, which is all this lovely stuff. Yeah. Nothing much to see there. Printing and waiting for key presses. Then this is the new one. So this is the beautiful, we can see it, the beautiful beginning screen where you get to choose whether you're doing a new game or loading up a game. This is great. I don't know, I really like this. This screen mode is not screen 12. If you think it looks a bit elongated, I believe this is screen mode 8. So let's have a look. Yes, screen 8. So we're printing Stock Simulator, and then we print 36 spaces. That's what the tab command is. Followed by 3.0 to get it nice and center. Then we do some lines. So this is a line. This is a box. Wow. Let's dissect this a bit. There we go. So screen 8 is a funky screen. I don't think I ever used it very much. It is one of these here. So the reason is because it's 640 by 200. So it's got lots of pixels in the horizontal direction, but very few pixels on the vertical direction. So everything you do looks very tall and skinny. You can see this screen mode in a lot, well, not a lot, but certain grocery stores. I've noticed when they're ringing stuff through the checkout, most notably here in Canada Superstore, you see this screen that the characters are really tall but really narrow. And that's, I always look at that and am reminded of screen 8. Not sure what they're using. So screen 8 was a funky screen. I'm not sure why I used it, but what you get, for your in response to such a weird graphics, weird aspect ratio, is you get pages, 4 different screens, an assignment of 16. So it's 16 colors, but we haven't talked about page flipping, but you can actually render graphics on a different screen and then instantly copy it to your screen. So you don't see any you don't see any graphics drawing or anything. And I eventually used that later on, but so more on that later. So here we go. This line here is kind of, it's a box. What is it? Oh, yeah, the yellow box. Okay. And then I'm doing this draw command, which is E35, F35. These are diagonal lines followed by a left and a right and a down and a right and an up. And okay, so that is how I drew the arrow. Okay. And then another line. What's that line about? So I drew the inside of the arrow green. You see that line there, that's green. And I did that because I wanted to paint the inside of that arrow completely green. And if that was yellow still, though, that would suck. So that's how I made that arrow. So similarly, I'll do the other arrow. And then the new game, load game, is straight text. Straight text. There's nothing funky going on with that. I'm locating row 10 and then locating row 15. New game, load game, and you're done. So that was how we did that. Okay. Next, now we want to capture input, because when I hit up, new game is going to be selected. When I hit down, load game is going to be selected. So we look for the up and the down key presses. And again, I look for the arrow keys using this dual code. This must be the up. No. This is the up. So when I hit up, I'm going to make load game. No matter what button I hit, I'm going to print both new game and load game, but just in different colors. So if I hit up, I'm going to print load game in the default white, and new game will become color 10, which is bright green. Game equals 0. Okay, this must be a flag. If I hit down, similarly, new game becomes the white and load game becomes the bright green. In this case, game is equal to 1. So after this is done, the game variable is 0 or 1, depending on whether you're doing a new game or load game. We wait until you hit enter, and then we bring the color back to the default white. And we exit. We keep going back. We go back to our main routine. So after choose game, we now have this game variable, which is 1 or 0. So if game is equal to 1, then we're going to do the loader. So this is interesting. Oh. Okay, so I'm clearing the screen here, and I'm calling shell. Now, shell is a special command in QBasic that will actually run a DOS command inside your program. So you're still always got access to DOS. And so this list is not an actual DOS command, but I suspect this is something that I made that is a bat file. So bat files were batch files that you could put a bunch of commands into one file and just have, and it would have the extension bat, and when you ran that bat file, it just executed everything in that file. Very nice. This might be a limitation with DOSBox. So the first line in the bat file is echo off. This isn't QBasic now. This is batch programming. Echo off just means that you don't want the commands in the file to display on the screen. But the output of those commands will go on the screen. So for f in star.save, do echo f. This is me displaying all these saved files, everything with a SAV extension. In the current directory, it will echo it to the command prompt. That must not work in DOSBox. That's too bad. Unless I don't have any save. Well, no, I do have save files. Oops. right? Ooh, me and my brothers and all sorts of things. Okay, so this should have worked. This was a listing. So originally, all the saved files would be displayed for you to choose from. And this is what was giving us this illegal 4. What if I took away one of these percent signs? DOSBox is supposed to emulate DOS pretty well. I'm surprised that doesn't actually work. Let's skip this. And we'll just start when we choose the game here. Load game. Illegal command 4. I really don't know. Okay. Whatever. So this was supposed to list out all the available games that you could load. And then you input your username. This would be the name of the file because I'm building up the file path by doing this, adding your file. So I'm looking for that save file. Then I'm building that path. Then I'm opening that path for input as number 1. We've seen that before. And we're inputting money, cash goal, and speed. We're reading all those variables, and we're also reading 6 values, and we put it into the position array. So the save files will be basically 9 numbers, and this is what they mean. Your money, how much you're playing to, your speed, and the positions of all 6 stocks. Okay, let's actually look at one of those. So this would have, here's one called dir. No. So here we go. So this is the money. He's playing till 500. The speed is 1. And then all 6 stocks, these are the positions of them. So that is how we saved. Okay. We do that. And we close the file. And now that we've populated these variables, that's all that's needed for the game to continue. We initialized them originally, but here we've set them and overwritten them, and the game thinks it's picked up from where we left off last time. Okay. Okay, now if game was not equal to 1, so this is a new game, then we're going to ask for speed, which is no big deal, asking for speed. Again, if we're a new game, then we're going to input what amount do you want to play until. I'm not sure why speed gets its own own subroutine and cash goal doesn't. Well, I do. In previous versions, the speed routine existed. Oh, but the cash goal existed too. Oh well. I didn't have to be consistent. Okay, here's our game loop. Now we're going to do stock pick. And this is going to be similar, except now we have arrays. So we're going to see a lot of for loops. So stock, we're initializing these 3 arrays, which each have 3 values to some defaults. And then we are going to ask for input on how many shares we want. So OK is a variable. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's kind of... So OK is 0. Then we ask for stocks. And here's the power of arrays in action. So we're print using, this will hold a number. Then we're going to print 2 slashes with a bunch of spaces in the middle, and then 4 numbers. And the way we're going to populate this template is we are going to throw in X. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then inside these slashes, which we'll have a look at, we are going to put the name of the stock, and in this last segment here for the position. So print using command was pretty powerful. Here we have these slashes. So what this does is it prints the first n characters, where n is the number of blanks between slashes. I didn't really have to do that, but if I had a really, really, really long stock name, it would get truncated. But none of my stock names were all that long, so I don't even know why I did that. Okay. Okay, and then this tabbing is kind of funky. Okay, then we're going to 3 times input stock X. So we're going to choose 1 to 6. So if I choose 1, stock of 1 will become 1. Then it goes around, and it goes around, and it goes around. And by the end of this for loop, I've got 3 stock variables. I've got the stock numbers of each of the stocks I'm interested in. If stock X is less than or equal to 6 and greater than or equal to 0, then OK equals OK plus 1. So this is a bounds check to make sure I'm between 1 and 6. If I chose a correct number, then OK gets increased. And so I loop until we're OK 3 times. All right. So yeah, oh, here we go again. That's a horrible way of inputting stocks, because what that means is now I can, if I wanted to go 1, 2, now it's going to ask me for the 3rd stock, but I'm going to hit 9. OK is now only 2. So now I have to go all the way back up, and OK becomes 0 again. So if I make a mistake, I got to re-enter everything. I can even make mistakes first, and it'll still go. And it doesn't check for complete error until you enter the last stock. Well, that's a terrible experience. I think I fixed that in later versions. Okay, so then for each stock, okay. So stock word is, again, an array of 3 values. These will be the names of the stocks we're interested in, and this is how we do it. So stock X contains the number of the stock. Stock word, in the case that it's 1, stock word becomes Duff beer, and stock pause becomes the position of 1. Okay, so we have our 3 arrays being populated. Stock number, stock name, and the position. That's fine, and nothing else funky is going on here. Okay, and we do that 3 times for each stock that we're interested in. Then we have this much money, and we ask for each stock, if that number wasn't 0, how much money do you want to invest in? And we can take the name of the stock from the stock word array, and we input into cache X. So for the first stock, we'll be inputting into cache 1. For the second stock, we'll be inputting into cache 2 and then cache 3. And then we loop until cache 1, cache 2, cache 3, all added together is less than our money. So we can invest all that, and then we take it away. Subtract each of the cache variables from money. Okay. So arrays make things easier, but we see a lot more for loops. But that's okay. Calculate shares. How do we do this with arrays? So shares is another variable, another array with 3 values, and we just loop. In versions past, in the last version, we had to do this 3 times for numbered values of numbered variables, but now we can do it in a nice for loop. Again, we're checking for less than 0 shares. We're setting it to 0. And again, so this is the same thing that we've seen last time in version 2.0. It's just that things have been converted to use the arrays. Okay, very good. And clear the screen. We'll do our computer, which to my knowledge never changes. Then we do our logo. Oops. Oh, I guess there were 2 updates. I updated it to 1999. Before it was 98, and version 3.0. Excellent, and still that smiley face. Okay. And this might be all the same. So speed, int is random number between 1 and 2. Again, this looks all the same magnitude. They're randomly going to change between 1 and 20. Okay, calculate positions is going to be slightly different. Look at how nice that is. Nice and concise for each stock. If stock equals X, oh, the stock variable is here. That's the stock. So it's randomly going to be a random stock. Gets put into the stock variable. And then when we calculate the position, stock is the stock that's changing. Oh, that's actually not good. So I'm looping for each stock if stock was equal to X. So if this is the stock that's changing, then update its position with the magnitude times either 1 or -1. The reason why this isn't good is because stock is the number. So I could have just said, whoops, posit of stock equals posit of stock plus magnitude times the INTA. That's it. This would not even have to be there. That would do the same thing. So I had arrays, but I didn't use them quite as efficiently. I don't know why I deleted that. Actually, I cut it, so I can just do shift insert. There we go. Okay. That's funny. We're doing, did you change? Did you change? Did you change? Did you change? Okay, STOCK30.BAS. For x equals 1 to 3. Okay, so this is updating our STOCK30.BAS. Ugh. So we're looking at the stock number of the first stock we're interested in. So this gets a little confusing. Stock of 1 contains a number, which is 1 through 6. If it was 1, then we're updating the stock position of that stock we're interested in to be position 1. So this always matches this. And we do this 3 times because we're trying to keep in sync the stock position of each stock you're interested in with the position of the actual stock itself. Okay. It's not really important if that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but anyway. It is important for the game, so I guess it is important. So hopefully it made sense. Whatever. Okay, so now we're doing time. Now time has traditionally been this thing that happens every time we want to update the screen. So For each stock, if it's a stock we're interested in, and we're interested in it if the stock array contains that number, then we're going to change the color to yellow. And then we're going to look at that position. If it's 100, we're still printing par when it's 100. Otherwise, we're going to print the name and then the position in 5 digits. And this is so they'll line up. So if a stock's at 7 and another stock's at 100, they will line up using the rightmost digits. Okay, and then we change to bright white. All right, total on top. We've kind of seen this before. Max equals posit 1. Sweet. Okay, now here's an awesome way of using arrays. So before I had to say, with the pos variables, I had pos 1, pos 2, pos 3, pos 4, pos 5, pos 6, and I had to say, if position 1 is greater than position 2, and position 1 is greater than position 3, and position 1 is greater than position 4. Remember, I did all that. Now, and then I had to do it 6 times just to find out which one was the maximum. Well, now with an array of 6 values, I do it in 4 lines. This is how I do it. I set this max. Max equals the position of the first stock, and the name of that max one is the name of the first stock, and num equals 1. Okay, and then for each of the other stocks in turn, if it's greater than the current max, then it's the max. So look at the second one. Is it bigger than the first one? Oh, then the second one becomes the largest. And then carry on to the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth. By the time you finish all 6 of them, you're guaranteed that max contains the stock that is the biggest. So this is one time through the whole thing. So if the position of the current stock is greater than the max, then max becomes the position of that current stock. We're updating max with the bigger number, and update the max name. Num equals x. Oh. Okay, so num is going to keep track of, right, so max is the value of the stock. X is the number of the stock, 1 through 6. So every time we find a new maximum, we update num with that stock number, 1 through 6. So after we're come out of this for loop, we're guaranteed a few things. Max is the position of the highest stock. Max name contains the name of that stock, and num contains the stock number of that stock. So then we can say we print the current champion. Again, we're using this slash thing. Max name. We don't know what it is at this point, but we just calculated it up here. Okay, and then top equals top. Oh, right. Add another one time to the top that this current champion has been on top. If top equals 10, then the winner of that stock becomes the winner of that stock plus 1. Why? So only every 10 times. Only 10 times. What? Hold on. When do we call this? We do this all the time. Oh, this is something that's different. In versions past, we've done this updating of the display only every 20 times, or what even was it? Let's go back. Let's go back to version 2. If time equals 50, so only every 50 times through the loop did we actually call this subroutine. But now we're calling it every time. Come on. Okay, so we're calling it every time, but if a stock was the current champion, it would get top equals top plus 1 every 10 times through the loop. It's going to add, so winner is an array. It's got 6 values in it, and it is the number of times that particular stock has been number 1, been the highest. So only every 10th time are we going to actually look at who the current champion is and increment their time, you know, the time they've spent on top. Okay. So that's a difference. The winner is calculated every 10th time, but all the displaying of all the positions is real time, completely and utterly real time. All right. And we loop until we hit escape. 1 second, folks. My battery's about to die. Okay, we still have some more. I keep forgetting when I plug in my phone, it stops recording. Okay, we still have some more things to go. We've ended the game loop here. So we're going to call it quits for now, and we'll come back with a third part to this episode, hopefully finish up Stock Simulator 3.0. So take it easy, have a good day. We'll see you next time for more adventures in old code.